What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell is Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get sausage biscuits. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Go with the deuces. There you go, baby.
Oh, what's up, guys? Good to see you, man. Hey, welcome to Cave Talk with Christopher James. I am Christopher James, and it is Sunday night, man, a special edition of the show. We figured, you know what the hell, we'll jump in here and do a little fun stuff tonight. Recap UFC 268. Oh, wait, I already did that one, didn't I? And, oh, no, we didn't do that one. Recap UFC 268, talk about BKFC New York. And then in about 28 minutes, we're going to talk to former UFC fighter turned bare knuckle fighter, just announced last week, Jimmie Rivera is going to join us on the program. I just want to say that last night, man, UFC 268 knocked it out of the fucking park. What an incredible, incredible event. It was one of the best ones I've seen, truly from top to bottom. It had everything you wanted. It had some submissions. It had knockouts. It had stories. It had drama. It had fun. It had excitement. Like I said, it had everything that you would want in an event. So how do you go wrong with that? Guys, feel free to jump in on the commentary here, as we get rolling on for you. So I'm going to jump into BKFC first. And the reason I'm going to do that, because there's only a couple of things I want to talk about there. Last night, BKFC New York took place on an Indian reservation up in, I believe, Seneca, New York. Is that where it was? Some town similar to that, on an Indian reservation. The reason I'm bringing that up is because BKFC is not sanctioned in New York as of now. However, on an Indian reservation, they can self-sanction, or the commission for the Indian reservation can sanction the event, which is what we saw last night. There were two fights. Actually, there were three fights on the card I want to talk about here, because you guys don't really know who the rest of these guys are, and I just want to move on and get into the UFC, to be honest with you, because there's a lot to cover there before I bring on my first guest, Jimmie Rivera. My man Travis Thompson, the Animal, defeated Jack Grady via TKO last night. Travis Thompson went out there. You know, Travis Thompson is one of those guys that I will always watch fight. I don't care if he's on a 25-fight losing streak. I'm going to tune in and watch this guy fight and, put on a show, because he does. He likes to go out there and fight. He truly does it. It's not about the money for him. It's about the fighting. You know, he can go out there and fight, and he loves to fight. So whenever that kid's on a card, I watch. So I was watching UFC last night. Travis's fight came on. I'm watching it on my phone in front of my, by the big screen's got the UFC. I've got Travis on my handheld device, which is my cell phone. And I watched him just decimate this kid. He really just, he leveled up. This kid tried to level up Jack Grady. Talked a lot of shit before the fight. And Travis Thompson educated him on what it's like to be part of BKFC, because BKFC is not for everybody. Everybody can't do it. Everybody thinks they can do it because, it's just fighting. Yeah, there's more to it than just going out there and punching somebody. You have to know defense, and in BKFC, defense is something that you can only learn on the job. You can train for it all day, but the goal is, of course, not to get hit. But the way these guys fight at BKFC, there's not too many guys that are going to go out there and not get hit. Very few Elvin Brittos out there that can avoid taking damage while inflicting damage. But Travis Thompson went out there and did his thing. So congratulations to Travis Thompson. Jake Young taking on Dustin Pog. And Jake Young gets the win via DQ because of strikes on the ground. Dustin repeatedly hit Jake when Jake was on the ground. You can't do that in BKFC. Dustin used to fight in the UFC, and if you're going to transition over to a new sport, you need to know the rule set before you go in, because this is what happens. He was clearly going to win the fight, but because he violated the rule set, he takes an L, and that sucks. We've seen it happen a couple other times before at BKFC where punches were thrown at a fighter on the ground. You can't do it, guys. You just can't do it. So, you need to step up and pay attention to the rule set. That's the important part, okay? And then, of course, in the heavyweight championship last night, Arnold Adams taking on Joey Beltran. for the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship Heavyweight belt and the Police Gazette Boxing Corporation Diamond Heavyweight Championship. Both of which were in the possession of Joey Beltran. Leading into the fight, he was the reigning defending champion. Took on Arnold Adams. Boom, yay! And Adams was the only guy to defeat Beltran prior to last night, and Adams is still the only guy to defeat Beltran after last night. Arnold Adams is the new Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship Heavyweight Champion of the world and the Police Gazette Diamond Belt Champion of the world. This is the second time that Adams is the champion. It was a really good fight. Both guys really went out there and put on work. Joey Beltran posted today that, hey, didn't go my way. I'm 40 years old. And, 3 judges decided that I didn't win. So, we move forward. Championship attitude from Joey Beltran. He'll definitely be back. I'll see him next week. I'm going to talk to him about the fight when I'm in Miami for BKFC 22, featuring my client, Marcus Brimage, taking on Will Shutt, along with, a couple of other great fights on the card. But the only one that matters to me is my client. So all the other fights, no, I'm just kidding, guys. I love all the fights coming up. I'm just excited. This is my first time as a manager taking a fighter to fight night, and I can't wait to do it. Now, congratulations to Arnold Adams, and congratulations to Joey Beltran for putting on one hell of a fight, man. It was a good show. I really enjoyed it. So now we're going to jump into UFC 268 because, like I said, UFC 268 really delivered last night. If there was ever an A+ card last night, it was it. And it started, it started out a little slow. Because, and when I say slow, I don't mean like they were bad fights. It just started out with decision. Ode Osborne defeated CJ Vergara via unanimous decision 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. He probably could have won the fight 30-27, but he took the third round off. And, had this been a 5-round fight, he might have lost. It seemed like he was gassing out some and just trying to survive round 3 instead of, thrive in round 3. But, he's still young in his UFC career, and he'll learn and he'll correct mistakes. And I don't think we'll see that kind of a performance from him again. Next up, Melstic Bagdasaryan versus Bruno Souza. Unanimous decision for Bagdasaryan, 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. This was really a fun fight. Souza came in looking to establish his name in the UFC. But Bagdasaryan had other ideas on the night. So, and again, it was nice back and forth action. Bagdasaryan definitely won the fight. There was no question about it. And it was good. Again, entertaining fight. So we're 2 fights in, and I'm entertained. I am entertained after these 2 fights. Again, we always look for the finish, the submission, the knockout, the TKO. But when you have 2 guys that beat the shit out of each other and really go back and forth, you can't complain. Even if they go to decision. And those decisions weren't controversial. Those were the right ones. Those were the guys that won the fights. Next one, Justin Jacoby defeated John Allen via unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27. No question about this one either. Jacoby went out there and did a great job in his fight. And, hats off to both those guys for stepping up last night. Madison Square Garden, man. I mean, this is a big deal. Big fights on a big fight night at a iconic arena. I mean, if you were on this card, you were blessed to be there because you were a part of some serious history last night. Then we moved to the 4th fight of the night, and this one is really where the action started to pick up. Chris Barnett, the Beast Boy, taking on John Villante. And I'll tell you, man, what a fucking fight. Chris Barnett is somebody I've known for a long time, back from my days with the XFC. So we're talking, 2007, 2008. And Barnett has always been a fun guy. He's a big boy. He's 5'9", walks around 300 pounds. He's got moves that he shouldn't have. Spinning back kicks, dance moves, back flips, you name it, he's got it. A black belt in Taekwondo, I believe a 7th degree black belt. I'm not sure how that all works, but I'm pretty sure that's where he was at last time I checked. Taking on Villante, who, I don't want to say wasn't all the way there because he was, but, when he decided to move up to heavyweight, you could tell, and even last night, you could tell that he probably wasn't training as hard as he should. He probably was in his head a little bit. But none the matter because Chris Barnett didn't, care. At least prior to the fight, Chris Barnett didn't care, and during the fight, Chris Barnett didn't care if Vellante was going to retire. Chris Barnett was assigned a task to take this guy out, and he did just that. It was hard for Chris to get inside in the beginning. He really had to work hard to get in there. And it's funny because Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier and John Anik were talking about, the dance moves and, that, Chris Barnett does these crazy spinning back kicks, and then while they're talking about it, boom, Chris Barnett turns and he sets up and he throws a wheel kick. Now, Vellante is, a good 6 inches taller than Barnett, and Barnett, went way down through that wheel kick, way up high, and tagged Vellante right in the fucking dome. Dropped him down, went in there and finished him with some ground and pound. Does his signature front flip, land on the butt move, and comes out with his first UFC win. He took on Ben Rothwell in his debut, and it didn't go his way, but he never quit fighting. And then last night, he showed the people why he belongs in the UFC. Dana White at the post-fight press conference said this guy could do, spinning kicks, wheel kicks, dance moves. He's got it all. He's a great personality. I said I want to see Derek Lewis and Chris Barnett as a WWE tag team. You don't even got to create characters for them. Just let them be themselves. After they retire from the UFC, of course, I want them to go to the UFC and do what they're doing now and continue to fight and kick ass and take names because, that's why we tune in. Next, we move up. The next Irish superstar, and he even quoted Conor. Where are we at right now when fighters are coming out today and quoting Conor McGregor from years past? It says something about how the sport has grown and the impact that McGregor's had. But Ian Gary taking on Jordan Williams, and Jordan Williams was winning the fight, round one. He was tagging him. Gary was eating punches. He never stopped fighting, but he was getting tagged up. He was getting punched in the face quite a bit. And about 3 seconds before the bell rang, boom, he knocks him out. And it only takes, that one punch to finish the fight. But, here's a guy who was getting his butt kicked, and he came out, finished the fight. He came out, had a little cocky, Irish arrogance after the fight, and he said, that, remember, a famous Irishman once said, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over, and here's the takeover part 2. If this kid can deliver like he did last night, and how the Irish fan base supports their athletes, this kid definitely could be a big star in the UFC and do some big things. But, the book has just started being written, so we have to wait and see what he develops into. But based on what we saw last night, we saw that the kid can fight. We saw that he can, face adversity, and we saw that he can overcome adversity, and he did all of that last night. Now, Chris Barnett, personal, I love the kid, so I'm really excited, Then we move on. The reason I'm bringing up Chris Barnett again is because we're going to talk about a couple other fighters on this card that I love to death. I've got personal relationships with, and so Chris Barnett was the first one. I was like, all right, my dudes are doing good tonight. They're all going to do well. Excuse me, why? Next, we move to Nasruddin Imavov versus Edmund Shabazian. A lot of people were high on Shabazian, including my man Garrett Kerman, the fight analyst. But I'm not a fan of Shabazian. I don't think he is the goods that we were told. He may be one day down the road when he gets older and he becomes more mature, maybe completely grows into his, his man body. But right now, he's not that. So last night he took his third L, second round TKO, punches and elbows. And it's fully what I expected to happen. He came in, and like I said, he was hyped up so much coming into the octagon. And everybody's making this big deal about him, but he really he's not there. So, Dana White said he'll probably give him another fight, and then we'll see where we're at. But if Shabazian loses another one, he's cut. There's no way to avoid him being cut because he can't hang right now with the UFC guys, and that's just what we're seeing. So what do you do? By the way, last night I went 12-2 in my picks out of the 14 fights. The previous week I went 13-1. So I'm 25-3 in the last 2 UFC cards. I'm doing pretty good. It's been a while since I've gone on a good streak like that. So I'm happy to do that. Next, we move on. Another dude on the card I love to death. I finally got to announce him last year at XMMA, and I was really excited. Chris Curtis taking on Phil Hawes. These guys were supposed to fight about a month ago. Chris Curtis stepped in on 24-hour notice. Hawes didn't want to take the fight, not because he was in fear of Christopher Curtis, but he wanted to do his research. I can't blame the guy. 24 hours, man. So the problem is he gave Chris Curtis time to do his research. And I'll tell you, Phil Hawes is an excellent wrestler. And I fully expected him to come out and wrestle last night and really, just try to take Chris Curtis down and get on top of him and land punches. But Phil Hawes decided he wanted to stay on his feet. And that world right there belongs to Christopher Curtis. I think Christopher Curtis was a little surprised that Hawes stayed on his feet so long. Chris ate a lot of punches. Hawes looked great on the feet last night. There's no doubt about it. But then Chris Curtis uncorked a left hand that changed the fight just like that. And then he went in there and finished it. First round TKO strikes. Christopher Curtis is somebody that I believe should have been in the UFC a long time ago. There's a lot of people who said I was wrong. For those of you that said I was wrong, you believe me now? Chris Curtis has belonged there for a long time, and he should have been there. And last night he showed why he belongs in the UFC. He had a great fight on the Contender Series a couple of years ago, won it, did everything in that fight you wanted to see. You wanted to see his groundwork, you wanted to see his stand-up, submission abilities. You saw everything that Christopher Curtis, basically, you saw the blueprint of what a fighter should be, yet he did not get a contract. I don't know why. I can't explain why. I can't even fathom as to why he wasn't in the UFC, but he wasn't. But last night he showed he belonged, and he's going to have a stellar career. And he fought up a weight class at 185. Chris is a welterweight. Last night he fought at middleweight, and I believe we're going to see him drop back down to the welterweight division in his next appearance, and I can't wait to see him go. Very happy for my friend Chris Curtis. Next up, Bobby Green defeated Al Iaquinta, first round TKO and punches. Again, Bobby Green, what can you say about this guy, man? He had hand speed last night. He fights so unconventionally, keeping his hands down at his waist. You can't see the punches coming. So he's down here like this, and all of a sudden, boom, he pop shot you. Boom, he pop shot you. And you don't see the punch coming because you're focused on his eyes. You maybe on his shoulders. You're not looking at his hands, because if you look down at his hands, you're going to get cracked, right? So you have to pay attention. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not an Al Iaquinta fan. I respect the guy for being a fighter, so don't get me wrong when I say that. I'm just not a fan of his. Somebody I don't get into. And him and I have had some social media beefs. So sorry, Al. Go back to real estate. I said it. You're doing much better there. But I do respect you for getting the octagon. But again, not saying that you lost. So if anybody has a problem with that, hit me up. Next up, man, Mahogany steps into the octagon. I say Mahogany because of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said, this is what Mahogany looks like. Alex Pereira taking on Andreas Michailidis. Second round knockout via the knee strike. Now, Pereira is definitely the most decorated kickboxer to ever step foot inside the octagon. Joe Rogan was basically, I think Joe Rogan was, touching himself, quote unquote. He was so jacked up about this thing. He might have been jacking off at the fucking desk. He was so excited about this fight because he wanted to see what he would transition to as he comes into MMA. Talking about Pereira, of course. Now, in the first round, Pereira showed that he has work to do because he got taken down. And while he did, was able to, work on his defense there some, he definitely had some work to do. And a much more seasoned grappler, much more experienced grappler will be able to control Pereira. But if you let Pereira stay on his feet, you're asking for a fucking knockout. You're asking to be finished, and he will oblige you. There is no doubt about that in my mind. He threw that knee kick last night with intent. He threw it with precision, and he threw it to finish the fight, and that's just what he did. It was an absolutely stellar debut for him. Like I said, there's some holes to clean up, but, debuting. Think about this. Here he is coming in debuting. He's got 4 MMA fights, right? And he's the feature prelim on ESPN+. That's a big spot. And he stepped in, and, like I said, there's some growing pains that he's going to go through, but he did what he had to do and came out and finished the fight. So now we ran through the first 9 fights of the night, and those are all prelims. Now, I won't mind you, Pereira was the 6th fight in a row, starting with Chris Barnett, that finished via knockout. So we had, from Barnett, we had Barnett win by knockout, Gary by knockout, Nasruddin Imayov by knockout, Chris Curtis by knockout, Bobby Green by knockout, and then Pereira. 6 in a row. And now we move to a fight that we're waiting for somebody to just get their head, punched into the 5th row. Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler. These guys had some words before the fight. There's no doubt about it. They had some issues. But let me tell you something. A fight like that, where we wanted to deliver, a lot of times we don't get the delivery we're looking for. But last night, no, I'm wearing a different, sometimes I wear different shirts. Forrest, it's okay. But somewhere along the line, this fight last night delivered everything we wanted to do. And when that happens, when a matchup delivers the way we want it to, it's got to be the most beautiful thing we could see in combat sports. And Gaethje and Chandler did deliver everything last night. We knew it was, we all were predicting it was going to be fight of the night, and it certainly was. The most incredible fight on the card. That fight could have main evented, headlined its own pay-per-view, and here it is opening the pay-per-view segment of UFC 268. That's how stacked this card was. So, but they came out and they just started beating the shit out of each other. Justin had his moments, Chandler had his moments, and Justin really opened up in the 2nd round and took over the fight. Dropped Chandler with a nice uppercut, and then from that point forward, it was all Justin all the time. Takes home the unanimous decision win. I can't say enough about this fight, and I can't say too much about this fight. I mean, if you saw the fight, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Gaethje, 29-28, 29-28, 30-27. I had him 30-27. I felt he won all 3 rounds, all 3 rounds decisively. So, and even if even if the judges only gave him 2 rounds, either way, he won the fight, which was awesome to see. Now, here's the thing. Justin said if he doesn't get a title shot, he's going to riot. Last night, the post-fight press conference, somebody asked about Beneil Dariush, and the UFC said they have some plans going on, that could change the plans for Gaethje. Now, Gaethje is the clear-cut number 1 contender. Gaethje should be next. Don't be surprised if Beneil Dariush is the backup fighter for our lightweight championship between Dustin Poirier and the champion Charles Oliveira. I don't think he'll get to step in the cage, of course, because I think Oliveira and Poirier are too professional to miss weight or have anything happen. But, anything can happen. So I have a feeling that, if something bad happens, Dariush is going to get to step in, which is sad. But Gaethje, will sit back and he'll take his time and he'll take his camp. And he's not going to rush into a fight. But, we're talking December. He's not going to be ready to come back anyway. So, but it's one of those strange situations. So, and then we move on. Shane Burgos and Billy Quarantilo. Billy Quarantilo is my 3rd guy on the fight, card that I've announced, that I'm friends with. And I thought he was going to come out there and get the win. He got his leg chopped up, starting from the round 1 on. Shane Burgos really was chopping that leg up, trashed it. But Billy Q could have quit, but Billy Q don't quit because Billy Q don't know what quit is. He lost the fight 29-28 on all 3 judges' scorecards. But he went out there and he fought his heart out. I'm bummed for my friend, but Burgos deserved the win. He went out there and won the fight. So hats off to him. This fight right here, the next one, Marlon Vera versus Frankie Edgar. I'm just going to tell you, I picked against Frankie Edgar, and Frankie Edgar is one of my favorite fighters in the world, but I knew Marlon Vera was serious and coming in here to win. Vera was the favorite. There was no reason for me not to pick him except for my heart. And since I already had 3 heart picks on my card, I had to go. Now, by the way, the first fight I lost last night was Burgos versus Billy Q. I took Billy Q because I went my heart and my friendship. So I was 10-1 at that point. And going, all right, man, I'll just go 13-1 like I did the week before. So we moved to Marlon Vera and Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar, took down Vera. And when he did, he was able to stay on top and control the action. The problem is that Marlon Vera doesn't have any quit in him, just like Billy Q. So Marlon went out there and, took the 3rd round and went to work and front kicked Frankie to the face. it was wow, and that was it. That finished the fight right there. Frankie protested. He felt the fight was a bad stoppage. It was not a bad stoppage, and you could tell when he was arguing about a bad stoppage, he was still on wobbly legs. He was still on Dream Street. He was still doing the pumpkin dance. That fight definitely should have been stopped, and I have no problem with it. Sad to see my boy Frankie take an L, but I expected him to take an L. He's 40 years old, I believe now, and he's not getting any younger. And these guys coming up after him are younger, stronger, faster, tougher. Maybe not tougher, because Frankie Edgar is probably one of the toughest sons of bitches I ever saw in my life. But Frankie Edgar took an L. Next, we move on to the co-main event. Thug Rose taking on Weili Zhang, the champ, Rose Namajunas. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I wasn't excited about this fight. Rose knocked her out in the last fight when they fought, and Rose recaptured the title, the first woman to recapture the strawweight belt. So I didn't want to see this fight. I'm going to be honest with you. I felt, you get knocked out in the first round, you got to go back and do some work. But, we see these things happen sometimes. I don't, I'm not the matchmaker. So here we are, fight night. These girls are fighting again. Rose takes the split decision win, 48-47, 47-48, 49-46. So one judge saw it 4 rounds to 1 for Rose. I had it 48-47 for Rose. But Rose clearly won the fight. There was no doubt about it. And now, hopefully, Rose can move on to somebody else. I really think Carla Esparza is next, but don't be surprised if Dana White does something else, because Dana White does something else. But nobody else deserves it right now more than Carla Esparza. And, I think Carla and Rose were, if I have my brain, because I got all this stuff running right now, but I believe Carla and Rose fought once before. Carla got the win. So, there we go. Now we move on to the main event of the night, man. Camaro Usman taking on Colby Covington. I took Covington to win this fight, and he almost did it, man. I'm not going to say he won the fight. Colby says he won the fight. He deserves to get the win. My boy Nick Sherlock says Colby won the fight, but Usman won that fight last night. 48-47, 48-47. The 49-46 score in that one was fraudulent to me. Colby came back and won rounds 3 and 4 clearly. And you can make an argument that he took on round 5 as well. I didn't give him round 5, but you can make an argument. I see why people are making an argument that he might have won the 5th and final round. He didn't, but it was close, So, I had to shoot a message there. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it was a great fight. I still, Dana White singing his praise, Usman's praises last night, calling him the greatest welterweight ever, greatest welterweight of all time. But here's what I see. I see a guy who won the belt against Tyron Woodley, who was the only guy taking on all the number 1 contenders when he was the champion. And then you have a guy like Camaro Usman. He's had 5 defenses now, 4 of them against 2 of the same guys. This was the problem I felt when Kane was champion. He kept fighting the same guys over and over again. So how can you call yourself the great? And I don't care what you did beforehand, but it's what you do now. So for me, Camaro Usman defeating Colby twice and defeating Masvidal twice, and defeating Gilbert Burns, all these defenses. Yeah, it's cool. He defended the belt, but again, if you keep beating the same guys over and over again, how can you call yourself the greatest? I mean, how can anybody call you the greatest? It doesn't make any sense to me. I believe you have to go out there and you have to beat everybody. So he hasn't fought Wonderboy Thompson. Granted, Thompson hasn't got himself earned back into that spot yet, but Usman needs to fight those guys. He fought Leon Edwards already. So if Edwards wins this fight, he's probably going to get bumped up next. I personally want to see Hamzat Chimaev jump the line and fucking beat everybody up, because that's the guy right there. Now I'm looking at my green room and I see this guy over there. He's got a hat on. He's got a hoodie on. He's got a pimping beard right now, looking sexy. I think I'm going to bring him in here, boys and girls, right now. I'm happy to have our first guest and our only guest of the night, Mr. Jimmie Rivera, joining us for the first time on Cage Side with Christopher James. Jimmy, how are you tonight?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Same shit, smaller shovel, dude. I get to come out here and fight. That's what I love to do, man. So I'm excited about this.
First, I like that same shit, smaller shovel. I gotta use that. That's
you can use that whenever you fucking want to, and just once in a while, just remember to say, hey, I heard this guy Chris say it. I don't even care if I ever find out that you used it. I just, it's one of my favorite sayings. I just like it. Same shit, smaller shovel. You know, I mean, just is what it is. First of all, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking the time here on a Sunday night. I love the shirt, best dad. That's the dad right there.
Thanks, man. It was a gift, and I busted it out today. I random busted it out.
It's okay, man. It's not a gift. It's an award for being the best dad. So,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, even if you're not a good dad, I don't know. The shirt tells you you're the best dad, so you're the best dad. I read the shirt. The shirt tells all the facts. That's the way it works. So before we get into your new job and BKFC and everything, I learned stuff about guys. Actually, I mean, before I even say that, let's jump into this. You have been all over the world. You fought in all kinds of organizations, and that's going to tie into what I'm going to say in a minute. But just tell us what you've been doing since departing from the UFC, and your life during the pandemic. How has this affected you as just not as Jimmie the fighter, but as Jimmie the human being? Because everybody's got a little different story. And my story is I had COVID last year. I had the chills for 3 hours. That was the worst part of my symptoms. I was one of those fortunate, lucky people. And, I live in Florida, so we're the Wild West down here. I mean, we just enjoy life. So
you're a good spot. I wish I was in Florida, but it's a little too hot sometimes.
You know what? I'll take the heat over having to be forced to wear a mask any day of the week.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I agree, especially when it's so small that the mask, it's more for sane of mind than really helping you.
Yeah, because the mask is not going to prevent you from getting COVID. And I don't like to get political and all this, but this is not political. This is not, the mandates are political, but we won't get too crazy to that. I'm just going to say that the mask ain't going to save you from getting COVID. The mask ain't going to stop me from giving COVID to you. If I have COVID and you're standing next to me, you might get COVID with or without the mask. And I also not a fan of the vaccine because, again, the vaccine, if it's a true vaccine, would stop me from getting COVID. Just like the vaccine for measles, mumps, diphtheria, chickenpox, smallpox. You take those vaccines, you're good. Take this vaccine, well, you still might get this shit. You might have to take like 27 booster shots to keep it going. I'm just not a fan, so I don't like the force. It's my body, it's my choice. I sound like a girl talking about being pregnant, but it's the same premise.
No, I mean,
body, my choice.
If you think about it, if we go into that route just a little bit, I agree it's supposed to stop you from being severely sick, but at the same time, you can still get it. You can still give it. You know what I mean? It's not going to stop you from getting it. It's like the flu shot. Their chances of survival are so high that, it's for the people that have the underlying conditions and the people that feel like I need it to have a peace of mind. But everybody's different. But again, you had all Democrats, the Me Too movement. This should be the same thing. Why are you taking it away? It should be like, it's my body, my choice. If I want to get it, I get it. If I don't want to get it, it's too much. I think the best thing is like just looking at history. It's just, we have a government and people in power. You know what I mean? Yep. We choose who we want. The government should never run us. We run the government, and we lost that along the way.
Yeah, somewhere that fucking got flipped around like we have to give in to them. No, fuck you guys. We pay you to be here. We put you in office. You need to follow what we want you to do. Don't just implement your own personal shit and fucking because you're getting a kickback from fucking Pfizer or all these other people. We could get so dirty in this conversation. There's no doubt about it.
We could.
And I'll say this too. I'm the high risk guy. I'm the guy that, they're supposedly making the vaccine for. I've had 3 heart attacks. I have 7 stents in my heart. I've had cancer. I've had leukemia. Yet I'm still here standing, and I took on COVID head on. And like I said, I had the chills for 3 hours. That was it. I just got to sit home for 2 weeks on a paid vacation. And then, I went back to work. I don't get it. But for you, has it affected your family? Like, being able to do anything? Is there anything that you haven't been able to do during the pandemic that you wanted to do?
Well,
outside of fighting.
So let's start with, I did get it. My wife got it. And I was sick for really 3 bad days. After that, I was fine. I was like back working out, doing stuff I could at home. My wife had it for a week, and I was a little more concerned with her. Me, I had first day was, I had fatigue, back soreness, fever. Second day, just back soreness and fever. Third day, I just had some back soreness and then a little fever at night. Fourth day, I was completely fine. And my wife had it for a little longer. I was more concerned with her because she was coughing a lot. but she got over it. And then I was supposed to fight Pedro Munoz, and they had to push the fight back because I tested positive. I'm like, what do you mean I'm positive? Like, how you feeling? Like, everybody was worried. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm like, I feel great. I don't even know I had it. I had this little sniffle. And one of my teammates had it, and I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, I can't get it again. You know what I mean? But then you start reading about it, which I did, and educated myself. I'm like, all right, there's different variants. It's like the flu. All right, so this is going to keep coming back. When is enough with everything going on? At the end of the day, the survival rate's so high. And then you see this now, they're, approving the vaccine 5 to 11. California is like pushing the vaccine on all students to attend school. I go, listen, come on, this is like the flu. You can't push people. You don't push people on the flu shot. You shouldn't push them that. You know what I mean? It's either got to be one way or the other. Either it's pro-choice and you let people get all vaccines, kids and stuff like that, or, either you mandate everybody has to get it, all vaccines, even children, all that, like all in general, because you have to get vaccines and go to school.
Right.
Or on the other hand, you let people be pro-choice and let them do what they want to do. Again, going into it, the only people I believe that should raise their kids and have choices is the parents. And, with me having a baby girl, I don't want the government, CRT is big where in the county I used to live in, Bergen County. CRT is huge. I'm a little different. I'm in a little bit more red county in Sussex. And then not only that, but like the CRT and then like the whole transgender thing. I'm like, listen, the parents teach about the birds and the bees, not you guys. You guys come in middle school and you teach them safety and the disease and stuff like that, STDs.
Right.
Like, yeah, but like let us handle and teach our kids. Not to mention kids were learning it like as I was like. So I'm also like an instructor and a school owner, and that was a big impact because I had a school in New York City. These kids are growing up. They're by 5th grade, MTV, all the stuff, social media, they knew more than what the teachers were teaching them in school. So it didn't really matter. I'm like, and then if they had questions, they would ask their parents, or the parents were like, what are you watching? And, like, trust me, Squid Games. Have you seen Squid Games?
I have not. Everybody talks about all these shows, and I'm always like, God damn it, man. Maybe one day I'll watch one. Is this one I should watch?
It's crazy. It's good. But like, I've heard some kids watch it at like young ages, and their parents are like, what are you watching? And like somehow they snuck in, or they just clicked on the parents' profile, not their profile on Netflix, and they watched it. It's like something that you should at least be in high school watching it, not in even middle school. It's like, it's very, very, gory, and the things they doing is unbelievable. But again, kids are gonna be kids, and it is where it comes down the line is that when it comes down to how a kid behaves, it always comes down to the parents. So at the end of the day, there's no one to blame. If a kid acts up or does something wrong, it's a parent's job. Teacher, you have student teacher conferences, stuff like that. That's your time to speak to the parent. Listen, this is what's going on. Can you please, help with this situation, whatever it is. But it's not your place to intervene unless the kid's going to be hurt, physically hurt.
Right. Yeah, 100%. If I'm endangering my child, then the school, if they see something like that, they should step in. But other than that, your job is to teach my kid about math, science, reading, and history. Your job. Let me take care of the rest.
You still, as a parent, you still help them with homework, stuff like that. But your job as a teacher is getting ready for college, getting ready for the next grade. When they're in high school, now they're getting ready those 4 years for college.
Teaching them how to interact with other human beings. It's all part of the education process. And then the schools want to the government and the schools want to overstep their bounds. I have a problem with that. That's why I don't believe in corporal punishment. Listen, if my kid comes to school and does something stupid and you put a fucking wooden paddle on my kid's ass, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to fuck you up. And I'm going to probably do a night or two in jail for fucking you up. But you're not going to put your hands on my child. There's still some states that allow corporal punishment. It's just, it bothers me. Like, look, if the kid needs a spanking, that's mom and dad's job, not your job. Go ahead and put your hands on my kid. Like, I have a grandson now, he's 3. So, he's going to be going to, school here in a couple of years. And I told my daughter, I said, listen, I said, I want to make sure that we put him in a school district where they don't have corporal punishment, because he's a demon and he'll be one of those kids that would probably need a fucking paddling. Send him to grandpa. I'll take care of his ass, or you do it. But if that school does it, I don't care if I'm living in Florida and you're living in Seattle, or you're living in Montana, or you're living in Timbuktu or somewhere out. I will come to that school and everybody's getting the smoke. Don't put your hands on my family. It's not the place for it. Not in the school setting. I agree with you, dude. The schools and the government really try to overstep, and now with this COVID, they've really gone crazy in trying to overstep. But I think it's all going to come back on the switch next year because we're going to, the red wave is coming, and we're going to get back control of the fucking House and the Senate. And 2024.
Well, look at Virginia's elections, what happened outcome, and then look at New Jersey. New Jersey, and that's not even done yet. Like they're still counting votes, and I follow everything going on. And listen, I like there's a little bit of both sides. Again, look, I'm pro-choice. You know what I mean?
100%, dude. Listen, I vote Republican, but there's some stuff that the Democrats have that I agree with. And if you're a good Democrat, there's got to be some stuff that the Republicans have that you agree with because it makes sense for everybody. Like President Trump wanted to have transparency in pricing for insulin and a couple other things, and these guys are shooting it down. You know why? Because they're getting kickbacks from the fucking manufacturers.
But you're helping those people with low income. So why are you killing
everybody?
Them?
So here he is helping everybody, and people are, oh no, we can't do that. Listen, go fuck yourself. Just because you don't like Donald Trump, because he was a celebrity that came over and he slammed the door on you guys. He did. He cleaned out the swamp. He brought peace to South Korea and North Korea, something all these other real politicians before him couldn't do. I like doing this sometimes, by the way. Okay. But it's just there. I'm 52, so it's part of my thing.
Talk with your hands and stuff.
I'm a Jewish kid from Brooklyn. I mean,
that's cool.
So, but he's done so much good. Like, I think Donald Trump deserved a Nobel Peace Prize for bringing peace to those guys because he brought them to the table when nobody else could. And we're talking about seasoned politicians that are supposed to have skills in this stuff, but his big business acumen, translated into politics rather well. Don't get me wrong. He said some stupid shit, but you know what? If you give me the choice of reading Donald Trump's mean tweets or gas being fucking $3.75 a gallon, I'm going to take the mean tweets.
Listen, at the end of the day, we'll try not to get too political. We'll end it like this. Every person I asked why they were voting for Biden without mentioning Trump couldn't do that. They always mention Trump. We just have to get him out of office, get him out of office. Now, see where this administration, that Biden administration, see how the country's going. You wanted to get this guy out of office because, again, he's not a politician. I understand. He didn't hold himself up to a standard, but he's a businessman. The country's a business. He ran it really well. We were doing really, really, really well. Everything he did. The list goes on. And again, when he was in the debate with Biden, he didn't have to attack Biden. I don't agree with that first debate. All he had to do was say his accomplishments. He just felt ganged up on, and that's what happens. He was ganged up on by everybody. And if he said one thing out of phrase, they just took it way overboard. There's so much stuff. He did so much for the black community, all this money, and now they're taking it away. Now they're taking that money away. That money was so big, now it's coming so small of what the black community, the money they were going to get. And so it's crazy. At the end of the day, you should never vote emotion. Take the emotion out. It's like a fighter fighting. Yeah. Perfect way to translate it. If you get emotional, like a Cody Garbrandt, when he gets emotional when he fights, you saw in the TJ fights, you see in other fights, you saw in the Pedro Munoz fight. Yeah. That's how you lose. And now look, you got emotion while you voted for this administration, and now you see where it's going.
Yep. I'll say this, and then we'll jump out of this too, because in spite of what people thought about Trump, he delivered everything. Even started building the wall while Mexico wasn't paying for it. The wall was being built. Everything he said he was going to try to do, he did. The only thing he really couldn't tackle was healthcare, and that is such a giant mountain of shit. So I'm not even mad about that. But the things he said he wanted to do for the country, he was doing. With every roadblock coming at him along the way, he still stood strong. And I think what people liked about him is because he wasn't afraid to mean tweet, if that's what you want to call it. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind. The same way I speak to my friends, he spoke to us. I don't care if he's a fucking multimillionaire. Fucking people go, oh, how can he identify with us? You listen to him talk. He's one of us. Just because he's got a lot more money.
He helped the little person.
He's one of us.
He helped the low-income families, and not only he brought the middle class back. And now we look at the economy, and I don't care what people say. There's no more middle class. It's slowly going either you're upper class or you're lower class. There's no middle class, and that doesn't help. He did so much. Again, I understand. Listen, I agree with you. Could he held himself professional more? Yes. Is he a politician? No. So yeah, I get it. You want someone to be a little bit more respectful, but listen, put that aside of what he said and look at all the other accomplishments he did. I mean, look at all the stuff he said he was going to do and did it. Look at when Biden went in right away, laid all those workers, that pipeline, everything. He said he was going to do it. First thing to go in, like how many times you vote democratically and they go in and they say they're going to do one thing and do the complete opposite. You know, it happens both ways. Though. It happens both ways.
It does.
But a lot of times when you look at history, and then you hope history is being taught the right way, especially in schools, is that, you know, there's big things that happen. And I think at the end of the day, even more people turned on him that are politically, because he was one that said no to Big Pharma. You know what I mean? Knocking all those prices down. They lost a lot of money. Now with the COVID and all that, and you bring up, you know, kickbacks, look how much money they're making off all the Pfizer and all that. Come on.
Oh,
you know,
it's all nuts.
So yeah.
All right, so for you guys that just tuned in to KHR Christopher James, that was a little political conversation with me and Jimmie Rivera. You know, and sometimes we do that on the show where we jump off the topic of MMA or fighting or, you know, boxing or anything, just to, you know, chat, you know, because just because these people are fighters doesn't mean they live life the way we do. So, you know, it's good to hear their opinions and, you know, how they look at life, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, they might be on TV, they might get paid to beat people up, but, you know, at the end of the day, they're just like you and me. They just have a pretty fucking cool job. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, fighting's helped me. I have a school in Brooklyn that I'm part owners with. I had a school in the city, and everything that happened in the city, you know what I mean? I closed it down, and we had 2 schools in the city. I kind of pushed my students into other schools. So, you know, this way they would always have a place to stay. There was other things involved with landlords, stuff like that. But, you know, landlords got a big hit. There was no evictions or stuff like that. People couldn't pay. Everybody was scared of COVID. I get it. But at the end of the day, you know, business took a hit. And the biggest thing is that landlords took a huge hit. And then, you know, how could they with their tenants? So if we can't get abatement, how are we going to keep, you know, moving forward? Especially I'm a martial arts school. I'm like, it's like a gym. I have members. If I can't get most of my abatement or, you know, get some free months too to build up my client base again. Like, how am I supposed to run the business? You know, it takes, and then you have people that are like small mom and pop shops that are like, you know, flower shops, hardware stores. They can't be open.
But your gym,
Home Depot,
your gym is a mom and pop shop. Your gym is a mom and pop shop. You know, you're not. It is. But even the businesses that are, you know, they're essential businesses like mom and pop shops that have a hardware store or flower stuff like that. They sell the same thing in the Home Depot and Lowe's. Why can't they be open? You know, like it's a very, you know, those mom and pop shops, those are like the middle class. And then you got other people who are America.
Yes.
All right. So no more
politics.
All right, no more politics.
Fights. What are you talking about?
So let's talk about what I was going to say at the beginning, but I sidetracked myself. You know, I was looking up your record on Tapology, and you know, I didn't realize this, but you've now fought at the WSOF, Bellator, and the UFC, the 3 biggest organizations in the country. You know, for the United States anyway.
World Series of Fighting, if anybody doesn't know, that was used to be the name. Now it's Professional Fight League. It's the PFL. So some people might not know that.
Yeah, I was going to drop that on them, but thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, dude. I like that. That means, you know, people like to hear from you guys more than they want to hear from me. I'm just the guy that kind of brings you to them. You know, that's what I do. But yeah, so it was WSOF. Now it's PFL. Do you remember when Justin Gaethje and Luis Palomino fought at WSOF the 2 times? Did you see those fights?
No, you know what? I didn't. And
go back and look at them. My fucking God. That's all I'm going to say to you. Did you watch the fights last night?
I did watch the fights last night. I did watch that main card.
Did you watch the fights last night with are you bitter about not being there, or you just say fuck it? It's just, you know, that's why I wanted to know if you watched the fights, because I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. Like if I either I moved on because I wanted to, or I moved on because they forced me to. I don't know if I would want to watch their product anymore. I'd be like, if I left because I wanted to leave, I don't want to watch their shit. And if I left because they kicked me out, I definitely don't want to watch their shit.
I'll put it towards this. It was the first pay-per-view I bought in a long time that I watched because the fight card of the fights I wanted to see. I had this conversation Friday night doing an interview, and he's like, you know, you feel like you're still, you know, he's like, I feel like you're still there. I'm like, listen, when it comes down to the day, people are going to watch me in the Peter Yan fight, and they're going to see how I fought him. I know some people that already did. And they're like, I can't really box like Jimmie could box or kickbox like he can. You know what I mean? So it's a little tough. I have to change the game plan. But at the end of the day, if you look at all the fights, I gave Peter Yan his toughest fight. I think the second toughest fight
100%.
he had was Aldo. And the only reason that it wasn't as tough as mine is because Aldo does come down and cut a lot of weight to make 35. So in those later rounds, you see he starts to gas out. But don't get me wrong, Aldo is a badass. He's good. If I ever get a chance to ever share the octagon with him, or whatever it is, it'd be a kickboxing, whatever it is, it'd be fucking. It would be a fun fight, But I'm listen. I'm only 32. I'm still in my prime. I still got years of fighting. I feel great. This whole time since like the pandemic was really trying to figure out what's going to go on with my schools. What am I going to do, work wise? But thank God I did have fighting, and I'm where I was at to make some money, so I didn't struggle. Because it was tough. It was definitely a big tough thing. But I'm not gonna lie, we made it work. Tiger Showman's, we have 46, 47 locations. We're opening even more up. I'm opening up a new one in Short Hills in New Jersey. That's coming within a month or two. We just know how to work hard. We're martial artists. We just put our head down. We don't give up. We teach our kids and adults not quit in spirit, not give up. That's self-discipline. We were teaching classes online. We were doing Twitch. They were like, we need to do something more because we don't know when we'll be able to open up, especially in the city. We were doing Zoom classes. So this way now we can see everybody. We were stepping it up, but we gave everybody the option. If they didn't want, we gave the option, unlike some other people, government. If you want to continue your training, we'll do it on Zoom. If you want to wait till we open up, you can wait till we open up. We will give you that time. You will not lose that time of training. Right. And we gave everybody the option. But at the end of the day, we can't have this whole thing stop us. And at the biggest time, health is really important and stay in shape. I think we boomed even more when we were allowed to open up because not only they got health, but all these riots and stuff like that, people don't feel safe. One of the instructors brought it up and I agreed with him and I didn't think about it like that. And this is why we do like a district meeting every month with all 46 or 47 locations. I think we have 46 open now. And that is going over stuff, making sure we're on par and everything, getting ideas from other people. But he brought up a good point. People are even scared now. Look at all the riots and stuff going on. People want to know how to defend themselves. God forbid something happens.
Yep.
Where are you going to learn how to defend yourself? Tiger Showman's. You want to learn how to, defend yourself standing or on the ground. That's what we teach.
Yeah, no, that's the way it should be, and I'm glad that there's schools out there like yours that think of that, because there are people that you're going to, I keep saying we're not going to talk about the government, but, when you went government, and all I could think was, mandate vaccine. How about fucking mandating fucking exercise? There you go.
Get rid of some of those fast food places. You know what I mean? Make them change the menu. Make them change the menu so it's healthier.
but no. You know what? We have a free enterprise system here, and people like I mean that would be like them coming in and telling you how to fucking run your school. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I can't. Can't be like on that side.
And listen,
you know what?
You know what? I like a Big Mac once in a while. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I don't care what's in it. It's like a hot dog. I don't give a fuck what's in it. It tastes good. So I don't want to know what's in it. I don't give a fuck what's in it. When I want one, and I have to be able to get that. And they have to be able to make it and sell it. So I don't believe in that. But, if you want to mandate something, mandate, an exercise program, in order for you to, keep your driver's license, whatever. You have to, go to the gym once a week. I would be more on board with that. And I still think that's an invasion of my privacy, but I would be more on board with that than I am with the vaccine, because at least with the fucking working out thing, all right, you have to do this every week. You have to, walk 2 miles, do fucking 50 push-ups and, something.
I agree. And there's incentives like that in corporate America. There's incentives like that in some, government workers with their health insurance. They get kickbacks if they're working out. They mostly their membership is paid for. Like that helps you. Like go out there and go do your thing.
Yeah. Every company can't afford to do that.
I jumped out because I'm a fitness nut, and health is really important. Again, I do agree with you. Once in a while, I like to eat my feelings once in a while. I want to go to like a Chick-fil-A or a Wendy's or something.
You live in Jersey, right?
Yeah.
So fucking, you can't tell me that you fucking don't want to eat some pizza once in a while. Fucking, whether you're in Jersey or you're in New York all the time working, you're in the pizza capital of the goddamn world. You're going to want to eat a slice sometime.
You're right.
And,
you're right.
Pizza's not
what?
great.
You know what? I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. I just ran right with it without thinking about it. Sometimes I do that. But you're right. But you know what? Give those incentives. If they're going to mandate something, mandate being in shape, fitness. Help people out that way.
Ladies and gentlemen, winner by knockout, Christopher James. All right, so and I'm going to ask you, and you'll either say yes or no. Your departure from the UFC, there wasn't really a lot that I could get information on. They put tomorrow because they cut weight, blah blah blah. Is there anything fucked up about the release from the UFC that we should know about or that we shouldn't know about? And when you, just so you know, whenever you come on my show, sometimes I'll throw a topic out there, and I'll ask, and if you don't want to talk about it, I don't give a fuck, dude, because it's your life, it's your story, and sometimes, it's not something that's it's not something that should be under public consumption. So, if there was some shit there that happened and, you're pissed about it, but you don't want to talk about it because it's none of our fucking business, then you just say, no, we're good, because I don't want you to feel like pressure, like you have to answer. I know you don't have to answer anything you don't want to, but I don't want you to feel like pressure, like from my end. I'm just a dude like you. I just like to, talk to people and get stories and, all that.
There's nothing bad. You know what I mean? There was nothing bad. It's just, even with that, I actually thought I had like one more fight left, and we were trying to schedule a fight. Like, no, you're done with your contract. So they were debating and figuring out what they're going to do with me. At the same time, I'm like, speaking to my manager, I'm like, I really want to try free agency. And I thought I had one or two more fights left. I didn't realize it. Let's get in there and let's see what other people are going to offer, and let's roll the dice. Let's see what's going to happen. I mean, we got offers all over the place. And one of those things I didn't realize, and it's really important, is being patient. You know what I mean? They don't say was it patience, it's a virtue. Is that how they say it? This is the saying?
Patience is a virtue.
Right? Am I said it right? Yeah.
Patience is a virtue.
I learned that definition being a free agent, because you really got to be patient, because it's not something that happens right away. It takes time to negotiate, to speak, to meet. At the same time, with everything going on, I think COVID puts a big strain and makes it even longer to be in free agency, because now you got like COVID going on, and you they're trying to run these shows for promotion and stuff like that. So besides that, just being patient, trying free agency and see it where it goes, and hasn't been a dull moment at all.
Well, you've been in Bellator, you've been in WSOF, aka now the PFL, you've been in the UFC. I feel like this is the Jimmie Rivera Combat Sports Tour just making its next stop and pulling into this station of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. So tell us how that came about, because there's a lot of people, including myself, that while I see it and I get it now, when I first heard about a rumor about it, I was like, never thought about Jimmie Rivera BKFC, but dude's got fucking hands. Makes fucking sense. But was that something you ever thought you would do? I mean, when BKFC's been out for 3 years. So did you ever even think about one day I'll go BKFC? Here I am, I'm in the UFC. Did that ever even cross your mind at all until?
Didn't cross my mind until I was a free agent. You know what I mean? I know there's other promotions out there, but nothing crossed my mind at that time until I was a free agent. I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on. Let's see about. I wasn't against it. I was very open for everything. I can tell you this: nothing is official yet. We're still working everything out, and I do have other offers. So nothing is official yet. I will know within, I guess, this upcoming week what's going to happen.
No, I've already decided it's official. You don't have a choice now, because I've already.
Oh, you decided it was official?
I'm the deciding factor.
Are you trying to be government now? You're trying to be government deciding factor.
I just tried to government your ass, bro. It's a mandate. You have to go to BKFC.
Listen, Chris, with your show, I have a couple people that would love to come on your show and just fucking, chit chat with all the stuff we're talking about now. A lot of teammates,
Well, listen, hey, but before you go into what you're going to say, if you ever want to do that, do let me know, because I can bring like 8 guests on at a time. I'll bring you back, and we'll just fucking have a roundtable shit show session. Now, I don't.
That's awesome.
Fuck.
Yeah, we could do something like that. You know, like
Anytime you want, listen, dude.
Couple
Anytime
of
you
guys
want.
like Louis Galno, who's retired now.
Oh, I love
who's
that
a
kid.
UFC vet. You know, freaking Julio. I got a couple guys. That's one of the things. Like,
Will
you
any
know,
of them talk shit about the UFC?
people call Tiger Showman's a McDojo, but we had 7 guys that are instructors, school owners, go to the UFC. You know what I mean? As of right now, we still have 4 active guys in there. So,
Right.
like, you know, you can't call a place a McDojo if they're sending people to the, you know, one of the top promotions. You know what I mean? Now you have all these other promotions coming up, and we kind of fall all over the place. Besides me, like Lyman Good was the Bellator champ at one point, you know, who's in the UFC right now. You had Shane Burgos. Like, a lot of us all ran
Shane
the
Burgos just beat up my boy Billy Quarantilo last night. I'm a little sad
Sorry,
about
man.
that.
Sorry. That's my boy, though.
No,
You
I
know,
know that's your boy, and
but-
Billy Q's my guy. You know, but see, here's the thing: you can have your guy, I can have my guy. At the end of the day, we both understand that it's fighting, and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it sucked, man. Listen. The last 2 weeks I've been on a great run with my picks. Last week at UFC 267, I went 13-1 on my picks. The only fight I lost was the main event. And then last night, the only fight I lost 2. I lost Billy Q and I lost the main event. I took Colby to win. So, and he put on a hell of a fight, but
I went 5-0 last night.
Oh, you only picked main card?
But I wanted Colby to win. No offense, Usman, and I wanted Frankie to win, but I went 5-0. I picked the main card out. Obviously,
I wanted Frankie to win, but I picked against him because I just, at this point in his career,
I picked against him too. I wanted him to win. I went 5-0. Remember, I went 5-0 on the main card. I wanted him to win, but this point in his career and where he's at, not because he got the knee as much, but you just see it's. I think some of the stuff he does. And I've got to train with him when I was getting ready for the favorite fight. Some of the stuff they do and some of the old school mentality does not work in this new era. So nothing against him. Great guy. Love him. But I think he's cutting too much weight. He needs to learn how to walk around at a certain weight class and then overhydrate, dehydrate, and make his weight. Like he not try boxing and a wrestler's mentality is that, they get so down to like 140 where he only has to cut a couple pounds instead of you walking around maybe 148, 150, and then you cut the rest of that weight. So, there's different things that just because I know how their camp kind of goes and runs because I trained with him for about, 5 or 6 weeks. When I trained with him, I was like, man, I don't know how the fuck you fought 155. You're the same size as me. I'm like, that is a fucking because you're a warrior.
To me, Frankie Edgar is. And, I say this to people all the time, and some people laugh at me because, Khabib's out there. But to me, Frankie Edgar is the greatest UFC lightweight champion of all time because when he fought at lightweight, he walked at lightweight. So he was the only real lightweight. Everybody else is fighting.
He walked less than lightweight.
but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
If he walked that, but that's what I'm saying. When he weighed in at 155. And he's at a time during that period, he was walking at 155 and a half. I know there was times where he was walking at 153 and 150 and 148, and he had to bulk up to get to 155.
Yeah.
But he's the truest definition of a lightweight champion because he actually walked and fought at the weight that was, he weighed in on. That's where he walked. That was his weight. And he was beating guys over 170 and 175. And the reason he was beating them is because he didn't have to cut weight. He didn't have to rehydrate. He didn't dehydrate himself all the way along the way.
Cardio,
and then the cardio,
and then those factors as well for sure.
So for me, he's the greatest lightweight champion of all time. And until somebody does what he's done, I'm not going to change my mind. I know Khabib has more wins as a champion, but there's only one more defense of Frankie. I think Frankie defended it 3 times, and Khabib defended it 4. So, and normally I say whoever has the most defenses, that's the man. But in this instance, it's not for me because of what I just said. Frankie fought where he fought. The only other guys who do that are heavyweights, and fucking not even all of them. Some of them are fat fuckers, 315 pounds, have to cut to 265.
But get it on that. Did you see that knockout, that spitting wheel hook kick?
That's my boy right there, Chris Barnett.
I don't even know. Listen, I know he's a part of my management team. Had no idea, and I saw that his walkout, his freaking kick. I was like, man, that guy is fucking agile. That is a fucking agile heavyweight.
He's like a 7th degree Taekwondo black belt. He's been throwing spinning kicks like that as long as I've known him. He fought with us and debuted with us here at XFC, right over my shoulder there.
Yeah. I see. I got you.
It's hard to do that on a green screen.
Oh, okay. Right there. There it is.
Got it. All right, cool. I'm learning. Like if I was a weatherman, I'd be like, and over here, I have to figure that shit out because that'd be all fucked up. But when I first saw Chris Barnett debut, because he debuted with us at XFC after coming to a tryout back in 2008, I believe it was, I was like, what the fuck did we find here? I was blown away. He's like, your buddy next door, the fat guy that fucking you chew the shit with and talk shit in the front yard, and he's got personality for days. He checks all the boxes. He just does. And he had some issues, with some struggles with some weight over the years, keeping himself motivated to go down to 265. He went over and fought in Japan at like super heavyweight and became a star over there. Man, was making shit tons of money to go over there and fight, come out in a Huggy Bear costume, because that was his nickname is Beast Boy, but he adopted the Huggy Bear moniker and nickname when he went over to Japan because it was a different crowd and he had to play to that crowd, So he looked like a giant Pokemon character to those people, but he went out there and he maximized his money out there. And he's always been that guy. I mean, Alistair Overeem used to bring him in for camps to fucking get him ready for fights, and some other big name UFC guys as well. It's crazy. Even DC talked about it last night that he had trained a little bit with Barnett. Barnett's always been able to do that shit. And, the first fight he took on Ben Rothwell and he lost. He took the fight on really short notice. The jitters got him. He admitted it, and he's somebody I would have always believed that the jitters never would have gotten him, but it got him because he just don't give a fuck. He's just a fun dude. Like I said, you saw him last night doing the front flip, dancing. And how classy did he give that moment to Gian Vellante last night?
Yeah. Really.
That was fucking beautiful.
Really
right
good.
here. Right in the fucking feeling.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what people know. Like, when I got the last minute call in the UFC, like, I didn't have it because my teammates were already in it. I was already going with them, helping them warm up in the back. So it's a little different, but it's out there. Like, I said I wouldn't have the jitters when I fought Faber. I went in there, I'm like, holy shit, in my head. I'm like, I'm fighting Uriah Faber. This motherfucker made the fucking weight classes. He made him popular, the California kid.
Yeah.
And I got to go in there and get my hand raised in front of him. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I mean, it was one of those fights where half the fight I was fighting with one eye, and the only shots he got on me was a poke and a groin shot, and that was it. And I'm like, but it was definitely one of those things I could look back on as I get, when I'm an old man and be like, I fucking beat that kid, Yep. But it's cool. I mean, you meet most of these guys are down to earth, cool guys, and at the end of the day, you see, like, I love the respect at the end. Even though they said they weren't going to do it between Colby and Usman, these people don't realize this. I'm going to tell you right now, I met Colby Covington. He's a nice guy. He sells fights. You're going to love to watch him get his ass kicked or kick someone's ass, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Met him.
So, people could say whatever they want to see, but you remember the casual fan won't know, but an MMA fan will, how he really is. And, dude, you saw that respect at the end. He said, I'm just trying to sell the fight for both of us, make more money in our pockets. That's the end of the day. That's what you want. That's why Usman's like, yeah, well, I'll fight Colby again. I would, if I was Usman, I would fight him again. He's going to sell the fight even more. Like, all right, Usman's not a big trash talker. I respect that. I'm not either, but someone's going to talk trash. Let's do it. Let's sell this fight. Let's get it going. And it's kind of hard to do it. Everybody has their own perspective. I'm a school owner. I have to motivate, and be professional with, the kids I teach and adults and stuff like that. So there's only a certain way I can be in persona. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to be 100% and say, all right, yeah, I can fuck that dude up. If we get in the boxing, in the ring, the bare knuckle ring, or we get in the octagon, whatever it is, I'm going to take it to that dude. He's going to have to kill me. You saw my last fight was Pedro. Like, after the first round, I fucking just went. I had one leg, but fuck it, let's go. I was watching when we were watching the Gaethje and Michael Chandler fight. I'm like, oh man, Gaethje wasn't really moving away when Chandler was engaging. I'm like, I wish Pedro was doing that to me instead of moving away, because I'm trying to catch someone with one leg fucking sucks. It really does. It does. He beat me to the calf kicks, and it happens. I had people, messing me, oh, is that legal, this and that? I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, man, it is legal. It happens. It's just the way of it. believe it or not, I walked out of there. The only thing that was fucking hurting me was my leg, my shin, and my calf. And I was like, I don't care what people say. You can still check that, but it's still gonna fucking hurt, man. You got to get that leg out of the way, or just hope he fucking doesn't hit as hard, you know.
So, while you said nothing's official with BKFC, I believe it's going to be official. I think you want to be there. I think it's a challenge.
I'm not saying I don't want to be there. I just
I know.
I don't like jumping the gun. I don't like putting that out there. You know.
Well, no, because if another promotion offered you, $100,000 over what BKFC is offering you, that's probably where you're going to go. Because at this stage of your career, it's time to stack up as much money as possible. So I totally understand. But I still believe BKFC is going to be the destination. What weight class?
So, again, my knowledge is that there's like a 35, a 45, 55, right? Yeah. It goes every 65, 75, all like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not 65.
No, we're not putting you at 65.
No. 45, 35. Get in there, 45, 35.
Because I put up a post. I want to see you and Chad Mendez go at BKFC.
I saw that. It could be a possibility. It could be. I don't know. I don't know if he'll cut down to 45. I don't know if he wants some of this smoke.
That's why I said you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
50. Catch weight 150. Fuck
he can make 45.
Huh?
He can make 45.
But I don't think he wants to anymore. So I think he probably wants to fight at 155. So you want to get at 45. So you meet in the middle. If he wants 55, you want 45. You meet in the middle.
That's
a fucking fight that people will fucking. Yeah, of course, I know
my manager will have to negotiate because if they want that, it's a little bit more weight. It might have to be a little bit more money. No offense to the guys at Bare Knuckle, love you guys. I love watching the fights. That's the only thing that comes up in my head.
My buddy Scott Farley, he's commenting right now. He manages a bunch of fighters over there, and he goes, "We need 65," and then he said, "We need 45," but. I'm like, yeah, we do need 45s. I actually manage fighters as well while I just started. So okay. Marcus Brimage, former UFC fighter, is my first client. So, and he's debuting next week at 45 at BKFC. So I don't want you to come to 45, dude.
You don't want me to come 40. Listen.
No, I'm Marcus, just kidding. Hey, listen.
Marcus, you're awesome, dude. All I can say is, there's a couple fights afterwards where, I'm like, fuck, man, I wish I didn't have to, fight this dude and beat the shit out of him. No offense. But Marcus is a cool fucking dude. He was my debut fight in the UFC and, nicest dude ever, respectful dude. Loved his fucking Dragon Ball Z coming out to that stuff.
He's a yoga master now, too.
He's a yoga master. Well, dude, that fits the whole Dragon Ball Z then. It's good, but
he's a yoga instructor. His nickname was the Bama Beast, and now he's changed his nickname. It's the Yoga Ninja. He's incredible. Floats. Yeah, he's debuting this weekend, next weekend at BKFC 22. I'm fucking really.
Is that Friday or Saturday? That fight?
Friday.
Friday, right? I'm just making sure. Yeah. Best of luck to him. You know what I mean? If I come down, if I fight at 45, I'm sorry, Chris.
Listen, and that's why I said it because I knew you guys fought. I was like, man, I don't want that to fight again, man. Especially and it's funny for me because again, especially and it's really weird. I've talked to fighters like Max Griffin. Max Griffin fought my dude Mike Perry, a while back in Orlando. Yeah. And I didn't know Max, and of course, I've announced fights for Mike, here on the regional scene before he got to the UFC. So we have a bond. He's my boy. He's my peeps. I love him to death. So, whenever somebody was fighting him, and I'm doing interviews, and I tell guys, hey, just so you know, me and Mike Perry are tight, bro. So just, you got to watch what you say, and I'm being goofy, of course. But inside me, I'm really going, you better not say anything stupid about my boy, man. I'm going to get pissed off, But, I goof about it. But I love certain people. So, but then I talk to people. Like, I had Max on my show, and I was like, after I did the interview, I got done with it. I'm like, I fucking like Max. Max is a cool motherfucker. Now he's got to fight Mike. Now I don't want them to fight at all because I like both motherfuckers. I like Mike more because I know Mike better. But now I don't want Mike to hit him. I don't want him to hit Mike. I'm going, what the fuck, man? Now what do I do? So I've had to learn to adjust on how I deal with stuff because you have friendships, and over the years I've developed friendships with fighters that have been on my show multiple times, and it's like I don't want to see them lose. And I don't want to see them fight other guys that, I like, it's like, but I know it's part of the business. So I just have to go, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, but you know what? What I have to say is that Marcus. Again, I don't know what he's thinking, but he might want that redemption. He might want that loss
Of
back.
course
he
he would.
Come fuck me up. So that might be a good fight too. Sell as well.
No, it would be a great fight.
Lost to UFC.
But now I don't want you guys to fight
redemption.
each other.
He wants to take Jimmie Rivera's head off, and Jimmie Rivera said, "Let's fucking do it." Kind of.
Now I don't want to see it because now we've chatted. It's like, you ever see the movie Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro?
Yes, I did.
Now that we've been face to face, I don't want to have to shoot you, but mark my words, if I got to, I'll, that's how I feel now. Like, now we've been face to face.
Sorry,
I don't want you.
My phone charging. My bad. Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Fine,
I mean, you know what? I'm almost 100%. I haven't seen it in a while. I'll give you another one that's really good, kind of like that. Righteous Kill. Check that one out.
Okay, I have not seen that.
That is a good one. Almost 100%. It's both De Niro and Pacino on that one. Same kind of plot in a way, a little different. Check that one out. Righteous Kill. Yeah. I actually, I met Al Pacino before my Prudential fight. Long Island fight, and I always thought he was way taller than me. He's like same height as me, and I'm short. Yeah. I was like talking to this dude, and we got into boxing. I'm like, and it was hard to look at him because he was doing the Paternal movie. He had makeup on and like a nose and stuff. And I'm like, it doesn't look like Al Pacino, but nicest guy ever, cool as hell. Can't say anything bad about the dude. And we started. They were basically like, "Yo, Al, we have to go. We have to go film. Like, we got to go film. We can't talk about boxing anymore." I'm like, nice meeting you, Al Pacino. I'm like, fucking awesome.
So I met Robert De Niro fucking at a Jets game, fucking many years ago. Well, not. I guess it's a few years back now. It was the Jets. It was a September 11th game. And Robert De Niro was pegged to make this speech, blah, blah, blah about America and all that stuff. And so I'm walking through Jet Stadium, and I'm coming around this corner, and, they got, the VIP, areas, all the special, fucking luxury boxes, doors coming out from somewhere. You're like, holy shit, that's a box, you had no idea. So as I'm coming around this corner on the concourse, here comes Billy Crystal and Robert De Niro walking up at me, right? And I'm not going, holy fuck. So, I'm not one of those shy guys. Like, if I see somebody I want to talk to, I'm going to walk up, I'm going to fucking talk to you. Whether you talk back, that's up to you, but I'm going to fucking say something. So I walk up, I go, hey, listen, I don't want to bother you guys, but I'm going to bother you guys. I don't want a picture. I just want to say, man, awesome work. And Mr. De Niro, that speech was awesome. And he goes, thank you very much, and then Billy Crystal fucking looks over and goes, they originally wanted me to do that speech, but for some reason they didn't think people would take me seriously delivering that kind of thing. The fuck's wrong with those people, Bob? I just started laughing my balls off, and then they just walked on. I was like, that was so fucking funny. Like, you don't expect him to be like himself, like that person in real life, but that's just who he is.
No, you'd be surprised. Like I guess I could there's like everybody that does something or well known, they're average people. You do have some people that are assholes, but you have a lot of down to earth people.
Oh yeah.
You meet certain people. Like I never had De Niro in my school, but I had his son because his grandson trained in my school for a while, Nicholas, and his grandson was awesome. So I was like, maybe one day when Nick's getting his belt, De Niro come in, I could say what's up and get a picture. It'd be pretty cool. He never came in, but it was cool. It was like, you realize, as I was getting older, I realized these people are just, they're the same as us. They're just more well known. One of my really good friends now, we talk, like last night we're on the phone for a little while, and my wife's like, let him watch the fights. I'm like, my bad. Once I start a conversation, we can keep it going. I don't know, do you listen to country music at all?
I love country music.
Brantley Gilbert is one of my good friends, and we always shoot the shoot. Can't even fucking talk anymore.
Shoot the shit. I got
there you go. Shoot the shit. I can't fucking talk. It's been a long day, and when you have
you can fight. You don't need to talk. It doesn't matter.
I know, right?
I can't fight, so I got to talk.
I end up a little bit like Gaethje, a little punch drunk. No offense, Gaethje. I'm just saying you take a lot of damage. You can see it starting to add up, And I'm not gonna. On a good note, he's been fighting a lot smarter. Last fight, with Chandler, he took a couple shots, but the other fights previous to that, he was very smart. He wasn't just going in, who's tougher, bang for bang. He's, have gotten better. That's important. You know, you want your brains intact when you're 50 years old.
I
But
don't
yeah,
think he cares.
yeah, but yeah, we were talking about the fights last night and just like, oh my Lord, like what was going on. And it was a good card. And he was the same thing. Like he's been back on the road finally and busy as hell. This is the first fight he got to sit down and kind of watch. And I was like, same with me in a way, like busy with everything I'm doing. There's a handful of stuff I do, but besides that, just, you know, I've seen some of the ESPN Plus cards here and there, some fights I wanted to see. Like I always like to keep up, especially with 135,
Right.
you know, even 145, see what's going on. Cause I have my teammates in those weight classes and I help them get ready. You know, even though I haven't been, you know, scheduled for a fight, I've been training nonstop. We had Shane getting ready for a fight. We had Julio Arce next week getting ready for a bantamweight fight.
I like that guy a lot.
Yeah. So like, you know, I'm in there. These guys need to work, and we get in there and we work, and it's work, man. These guys are good. You know what I mean? I love Shane. I told Shane already. I said I go into the fight. I said, good luck, bro. Keep your fucking hands up, because he loves to fight like a little Diaz style, hands down. Keep your fucking hands up for me, so we don't have a heart attack. Everybody for the team. He went in there, did great. After the fight, I guess it's like, because I do coach a little bit with the guys, and I teach them the wrestling and help them out. You know, and I guess honorable, you know, team captain in a way, honorary team. I can't talk honorary team captain.
You're the honorary team captain. So
there you go.
That's all.
And I go to Shane. I'm like, dude, great fight. Where the fuck were the combos? Like, follow up a little more. No offense, I know Billy's your boy. A little more combos, man. A little bit more.
Of course.
Keep attacking the leg. Why'd you stop on the leg? Like, I go, congrats, and then all this stuff at the end. And it's funny. I laugh about it because my wife too. My wife is friends with all the wives or the girlfriends, and you know, always wishing them good luck because they're, you know, she knows how it is when I go fight, and if she can't be there in the crowd, she won't watch the fight. She'll just like call me after the fight. Right. I have my work wife Lewis. He always reminds me, hey, you're call your wife right now. I got your wife on the phone. Yeah, it's my work wife when we go fight and stuff. He's like, I gotta call your wife. I call her, hey baby, how you doing? You know, I'm okay. My leg is fucked up, but I'm okay. Yeah, it was a close fight, and or I was like, yeah, it was a good win. You know. But the last, you know, 2 fights, because everything going on, she couldn't be there. And so I got my work wife always back me up. But like when she texts them, she put me in the group chat with me, Shane's wife, Veronica, and Shane. And I already said I had to say to Shane. And my wife just like, you didn't congratulate Shane. I'm like, no, I had my congratulations and my what you got to do next time, because you're giving us a fucking heart attack kind of speech. And I was like, just to Veronica, I'm like, congrats, Veronica. You know what I mean? It's fucking tough. What people don't realize is when you have, you know, your significant other watching you fight and get in the fucking lock cage or in the ring or whatever it is, boxing ring, it's scary. It's like you can't do anything, you know? And then especially when you're not there, like my wife told me, when I'm not there, I didn't even know when I fought the Cody Statement fight. She's like, I didn't watch. I just waited for you to call me after. I was like, why? She's like, well, I'm not there, so I can't go in the back. Can't do anything. Just call me afterwards and make sure you're okay. I'm like, all right, no problem. I get that. I appreciate you love me. So, but it's tough.
It's got to be. Did you see this comment I put up here from the MMA holes? They said the UFC did this guy dirty. And that's just what I asked you, you know, about the release. You know, there's a few people that messaged me when I posted I was going to have you on the show. And they said, oh, man, they did Jimmy dirty. And I said, well, I said, I don't know. I said, Jimmy will tell us if he felt they did him dirty, I guess. And you basically said, you know, it was just your contract was up and they just decided to not bring you back. I don't know if that's doing you dirty in my book. They just, you know, doing you dirty would be being on a 4-fight winning streak and then going, hey, we're done with your fucking ass, you know.
I mean, there could have been like other factors in there or however they felt. I mean, all I know is after the Pedro fight, I was like, all right, let's get in there. And then with everything going on, because I know Sean was very overwhelmed with, you know, you got a lot of guys. You got all these guys that can't even get into the U.S. They got to go back to Abu Dhabi to fight again. That we didn't even hear back for a little while and realized, because I just signed with First Round not too long ago before the Cody Statement fight.
Abe. You're with a good group of guys, man.
And they didn't realize, and I thought I still had like 1 or 2 more fights left in my contract. We just didn't realize. And then I think it was like, I want to say, you know, September time, we were like, yeah, you know, we're not sure what we're gonna do with Jimmy. You know, we might have a fight for him, not, but we can't, you know, promise anything. We're like, okay. So during that time period, I go, well, you know, I'm like, you know, we looked at the contract. I'm like, during the summertime, I'm like, all right, let's just see what other people offer. And Malky was straightforward. It's gonna take some time. I go, okay, let's do it. And every other week, I'd be, hey, what's up? What's going on? Or this and that. He's like, listen, I know where you're at. Don't worry about it. Just let me do my thing. I go, okay, no problem. And that's it. But I don't like burning bridges. You never know if I end up going back. You never know if I end up going to Bellator or PFL. You don't know if I finish my career off bare knuckle. I don't really know what the future entails for me. All I know is that I love to fight. It's in my blood. I got a lot of fights left. And I've had some wars. And whether I probably would say out of my career, probably the 2 fights that I'm not fond for were the Sterling fight. Wasn't that exciting of a fight. He wanted to take me down, his style, wrestle and stuff like that. Stopped him. I just couldn't capitalize and stuff. I was like, I had a rough weight cut, and it was like, and people that train can relate, or even people going into work the next day. If you went out the night before and drank, or you went out and you didn't get any sleep, or you just get any sleep, and you woke up the next morning, you had to train and get punched in the face, or you had to work that day, you're like, fuck, how am I going to do this? Right. That's kind of how I was going into the fight. Like, I was doing things. I'm like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And there's stuff I made mistakes. The Jan fight, I'm like, shit, first round, 20 seconds left. I'm up right now. I fucking destroyed him. I'm going to coast a little bit. Got hit with a good shot, flash knockdown, got back up, kept working. Yep. They gave him the round. So I'm like, damn. And I look at that fight. I'm like, they gave him, I won 4 minutes and 30 seconds of first and second round, and I lost the last little bit of it. And it's not like a knockdown that I went down, like Frankie did in that previous fight, or even Chandler that went down like that. It was like dropped a knee, got back up, kept working kind of thing. And I was like, damn, you're really going to give him the fight? So like sometimes it's hard to leave the fight in the judge's hand. But again, Jan's a tough motherfucker. It's hard to put that guy to sleep. It's hard to knock him out. Not hard to choke him out. Yeah, he's got good wrestling.
We just saw that. I mean, we just saw that, dude. I mean, fucking he I mean, in his last fight, he was got dead to rights there by fucking homie, and fucking nope. He didn't go out.
He's good.
I'm looking at him, I'm going, how the fuck is this motherfucker still awake?
I would love to see him in even just a jiu-jitsu match, just to see where he's at. But I knew from fighting him and just the fights in general that he has good wrestling defense. Comes down to the stand. Who's the better stand-up fighter? It really comes down to it. The thing with Sterling is that Sterling is a great wrestler. You know what I mean? Couldn't get me down, though, but a good wrestler. But his stand-up is really like, you don't know what he's going to throw. Like when I fought him, he threw a spinning back fist out of nowhere. Like, that was the weirdest thing ever. And I'm like, he hit me. I'm like, oh, that was a little good one. I didn't see it coming, and I kept going. I had a little stinky leg for a second, then back up and going. But I was like, where the fuck did that come from? That was one of the things that was like, he fought really well that fight. Give it to him. He kept the distance, but I guess that's why bare knuckle sounds really good. Just fucking stand and bang, and throw. So we'll see and go from there. But yeah, man, some of the wars I had were wars and exciting fights. And the Jan one always sticks out. Pedro always sticks out. Both Pedro fights were fucking wars. The one in Brazil and the one in Vegas were wars.
I'm sure the Faber fight will always stick out.
The Faber fight always stick out. Wasn't a war.
Wasn't a war, but it's a moment.
Yeah, it's a moment. It wasn't a war, but it was one. It was a lot of adversity in that fight. To be honest with you, a lot of adversity, especially after the, in that second round, or was it third round? Can't fucking remember. When I got poked in the eye, I was like, I couldn't fucking see anything. I was fighting one eye. I'm like, this is, and it's my dominant eye. I'm like, fuck, this is hard. And in my head, this is when you should learn the rules as a fighter. Is that if you couldn't fight anymore, and I think it was the third round actually, you couldn't fight anymore. It goes to the judges' scorecards. I was up already. But I'm not one to, just give up like that. As you saw in the Pedro fight, I want to, go out on my shield and just fucking finish the fight. The third round, put it towards the first round, I was starstruck. But I was getting my rhythm. The second round, picking up a little more in the third round. I was like, all right, I'm going to fuck it. I got it now. I'm going to put it on. And then that eye poke, and I'm like, fuck, can't see. I guess I'm going to play it safe now because I can't see shit, and I don't want to get knocked out, Nope, nobody wants to get knocked out. You have some fights like that. Yuri Alcantara was a fucking war. Marcus Brimage was a war. Even though it was a short fight, it was still a fucking war. We went at it with each other. And then trying to think who else I fought. Pedro, I fought second fight. Third fight, I think it was Yuri. Fourth fight was Uriah. And then Marlon. Marlon was one of those fights. Again, I made a mistake. I just, I wasn't 100% there. And when you're not 100% there, that's just shit can happen. So when you take a fight as you know, as a fighter, you listen as a fighter, make sure you're always there. You got to get rid of all distractions, make sure everything's there and you're focused. There was too much distractions. And after that fight, I was like, get me right back in. Went in with John Dodson. And let me tell you, people were like, I told people, right, this is going to be an exciting fight or it's going to be a boring fight. With the way he fought Jan, he stood in the pocket and fought, or a lot of times he would always look for that one punch. And what happened is that I hit him. Dude, I hit him so hard that instead of him going like this, he rubbed the back of his head. I was like, we were laughing about it. And I was like, damn. And I'm like, but he just, when someone doesn't want to stay in the pocket, you have to be careful not chasing them. Like, look at Justin Gaethje and Chandler. Justin rocked him a couple times, but did he chase him? Was he smart? He was smart. He kept picking his shots and kept going. That third round, I was like I love both fighters. But I'm like, Chandler, why are you giving so many free fucking shots? I'm like, don't give him free shots. Okay, we know you could take a shot. Okay, maybe you take one shot, but now give him back. And something in my head that sticks with my box coach is like, you never give any free shots. Never.
The last minute of that fight, you could just tell that Chandler knew he was out of the fight. I think he knew he wasn't going to win. He wasn't engaged, and he kept doing this, come on, and walking away, and come on. I think he just knew that.
Yeah, the last minute, it looked like he was just. They were
just
both,
trying to fucking survive the last minute.
I think they were both dead. They were just throwing bombs the whole fucking time. That first round was such a long first round because of all the bombs they threw. And, at the end, but you know what? If you look at it business-wise, his stock did not go down. He lost the fight, but his stock kept going up.
Stock can't go down when you fight like that. Win or lose. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't even matter. Yeah. You got to go out there and fight and show. This is a sport that's fucking grimy. It's gritty, and you're going to fight, and you're going to fucking go. I watched, again, I had Cheeto win the fight. Wanted Frankie, though, but I had him on my paper. I had Cheeto win the fight.
Yep.
And, one of the things that I like the little trash talking, egging on, but like giving him the finger, doing all this shit.
What did Frankie say to him? Maybe Frankie said something that caused him to give him the finger. Because Frankie talking shit after.
He didn't say anything.
Frankie said something when they broke up right there. Frankie looked over and said something, and then Marlon said something. And then Frankie, like they kind of moved at each other, and then.
Well, that was the eye. Wasn't that the eye poke though? He fucking got poked in the eye, and,
maybe that's what he was talking about. I don't know, maybe. But either way, it was out of character for both of them to, for Frankie to talk after a round, and for him to flip him off. They were both out of character in that moment.
I like when Pedro goes in like, come on, like that stuff, but like flipping off that stuff. But again, you know what I mean? It was one of those things that I told my friend, like, these are the 5 fights. And he was like, I owe you dinner because I know he bets a lot of money. He's like, I owe you dinner because he went 5-0. And he was like, he wasn't concerned about that fight as much. He wasn't really texting me. He was like, I go, you're lucky. I'm like, you're a little lucky on that one because, Cheeto got that front kick in. And again, I don't know if he was setting it up, but he caught it and he hit it right on the button. And when you hit the button like that, no offense, some people might have thought even Frankie was a quick stoppage, but it was a good stoppage. You know what I mean? And someone brought
it was an absolute 100%.
Yeah, my follow-up was like, he could have did worse after he dropped him. Like, he's showing him back ahead a little bit, but, after that one hit, he realized he was done. And he was out. And it was like, okay, he stopped at a good time.
Frankie protested, but Frankie was wrong.
Yeah, but I thought it was a good stoppage.
It was. He was still doing the pumpkin dance when he was trying to protest. He was on his knees, still wobbling around.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, yeah.
No, you saw him when he walked over. He was wobbling a little bit. I'm like, come on, bro. Yeah.
I get the warrior spirit in him. Like you would be the same way. You wouldn't want to admit that it was a good stoppage. You're like, I'm standing up. I can still fucking fight.
Oh, no, that happened with the Marlon fight. I was like, I watched the fight. I went out a little bit, came up. Dan was reffing the fight, and I go, Dan, I like kind of got in his face, and afterwards I went in the backstage and I'm like, listen, Dan, I'm sorry to get in your face, man. I just, I don't like losing. I don't like going out like that, in a way, and I apologize. He's like, it's all good, man. I'm like, my bad, But Dan's like a cool guy. I had Dan going from the, local circuit fights, ring combat, CFFC and all that. Yeah. And even in the professional leagues, having Dan as a ref, love having Dan. Dan's a great guy.
Big Dan, cool dude.
My buddy, though, was texting me a lot about the Rose fight because I told him Rose is going to win. He was like, I don't know, this and that. Throughout the whole fight, I'm like, bro, just relax. Rose is doing really good. You don't realize, freaking Zhang is a killer. She's a killer. She's tough. Rose is doing good. Fought a smart fight. I think when it came down to it, it's just almost with that fight was fighter IQ. You know, Rose is just more experienced, and you know, Zhang I think might have had a few more fights there, but Rose is just her IQ of fighting.
She has a lot more fights than Rose, but not at the UFC level.
Yeah, and that's
So.
a different level. The UFC level, the Bellator,
there's levels to this shit.
Yes. So,
well, listen, man, I've kept you on for a little over an hour. And I didn't mean to. You know, I usually do 30 minutes and everything, but when the things organically flow, I just kind of let them flow. But I don't want to keep you at Sunday night. You know, you got your daughter and you got family. I don't want to. Sunday's family day.
She's sleeping now, but I appreciate it. She's going to wake up in about a half hour and be like, I need something to drink. And it's either me giving the bottle or my wife giving the nipple. Most of the time, I might lose that war. You know, happy wife, happy life.
Hey, man, I got
that
one.
That one I can always get right. Happy wife, happy life kind of thing.
That's the only one you really got to get right, dude. So, I got questions coming up here. One says, is Jimmie an ass or a boob man?
Ass or a boob man? So I'm gonna have to say I'm an ass man because boobs you can always fix. You know what I mean? Now you can get.
But now you can
fix an ass too. You got BBL.
You can get an ass. You can buy an ass.
So,
hey, it's $19.99 for your ass. Come on down.
Well, I always laugh, and I don't know if my wife will watch this or I'll just tell her afterwards. So my wife was like, once she got married and took my last name Rivera, literally she just, I guess, when you're happy, you gain a little weight. All her weight went to her ass and thighs. So it was like, she said, can't fit in my jeans anymore. I'm like, it's fine with me. I'm okay with that.
You better when you're out of them, baby. I mean, it all works.
Yeah.
Ass man. Well, listen, man, wherever you end up, like I said, BKFC, but wherever you end up, we're just excited, man, see what the next chapter brings for you. Like I said, I really hope, and I truly believe it's going to be BKFC. Like I said, you have Malky Kawa in your corner, and he's one of those guys you don't, like you said, don't worry, I got you. I did, he knows you're there, and Malky is very thorough. He does his due diligence to make sure that whatever deal he puts together to present to you is the right deal. Yeah. I've known Malky for a long time, and you can't go wrong with him. That's why he was John Jones' manager for so many years. Because
that guy's been through thick and thin.
He knows what he's doing.
With John Jones, that's for sure.
So you definitely landed in the right spot, man. So just in go do your thing. These guys are saying Jimmie to XMMA. XMMA don't have enough money to pay Jimmie. That's just the bottom line. I like XMMA, but they are a regional show, and Jimmie Rivera is going to command a high salary. XMMA can't afford to keep him on a contract like that. They might be able to get him in for one fight, and again, that's not the shit on them, but you got to know where the money is, and for a guy like Jimmie Rivera, because somebody commented Jimmie to XMMA. For a guy like Jimmie Rivera, it's UFC, it's PFL, it's Bellator, or it's BKFC. It might even be one. Those are all organizations that can afford to pay him for what he's worth. He walks in the door with a resume that you can't just fucking make up. So he's going to get paid, and and
it's going to be an exciting fight wherever it is too. We're going to fucking, as long as that person doesn't fucking run and they want to fucking stay in the pocket. It's going to be like a Chandler Gaethje fight.
Well, that's why BKFC. That's why BKFC makes sense for you, because that's the only spot where they really can't run from you, Jimmie. I mean, they have a choice: run from you and get fucking TKO'd by timidity, or be in an MMA fight where they have options to try to work against you. Where they can grapple and wrestle fuck you. And so that's why I think BKFC makes sense, because like you just said, you want to stand and bang, and you want somebody that's going to stand there and toe the line with you. So, like I said, it's unofficially official only on the Chris Ordain show right here, because it's not officially official. So it's unofficially official through me. We're going to see Jimmie and BKFC inside their squared circle at some point. Not this year. His first fight will be in 2022, because got get everything all worked out and sign all the paper, cross the T's, dot the fucking I's, and then make sure they get the right first fight. So we'll see him in 2022 inside the squared circle. Listen, brother, I've always been a fan. So I've watched you for a long time. So I appreciate the entertainment you provided me and all the others out there. Yeah, they said XMMA had to go James Vick, and they got James Vick at a discount, and it was one fight, and he lost there too. So I know because I was the ring announcer for that event. Thank you. But so, sometimes I just, responding to people. Sometimes I should just not respond, but I do. But dude, I appreciate you. I love your view on, the way we should be doing life. It's the right way. So we can always agree on that. When you do get a deal announced now, or when you do know your deal, I'm going to ask you to message me and let me know. You can also tell me ahead of time when you do that I can't announce it and I won't announce it, because I don't like when Malky gets mad at me. So,
no problem.
So, but now I feel like we've talked long enough where I can say, all right, man, just give me the skinny, but I won't report it. Sometimes I just, I'm like a gossip girl. I got to know shit, if I know and other people don't know, I just feel special.
I hear you, man.
Oh shit, I almost forgot, man. There's one thing I forgot. Oh my God, my people watching would have got pissed if I didn't do this. This is your first time on my show. I almost forgot to do this, dude. It's something I ask everybody to do on my first time on my show. It's a little challenge.
Okay.
But you're a fighter. You got balls, right? Fucking, there's not too much that scares
you. Depends on the challenge.
I'm guessing there's not too much that scares Jimmie Rivera.
Yeah, I mean, what you're asking me? What scares me?
No. I'm just saying there's probably not much that scares you that you're afraid to do. So
no. So
that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, you would jump out of an airplane, right?
I did already twice.
You see what I'm saying, man? You got balls, cojones. So I'm going to ask you to do one simple little thing. You don't have to do it for a long time, but you have to do it for a little time. First time guest, and it has started a long time ago. This is episode 313 of my show. I've had over 500 guests on my show, and not one has said no.
Okay.
So you can't be the first, because then you won't survive in BKFC if you can't do this challenge. So I asked first time guests on my show to do something a little silly, make them come out of their comfort zone. Some are totally comfortable, some get a little sketchy. I asked them to sing.
I can't fucking sing, but
you don't have to listen.
I could try.
You don't have to be able to sing.
What song to sing?
People come on the show and sing, and they sound like fucking the ass end of a fucking donkey. It's okay, because that's what we want to see. We want to see out of the comfort zone. And the people that watch my show, actually, I did it a couple of times, and people make everybody do it. So I started making everybody do it. And it's been like the fucking one thing that people love about the show. They hate everything else, but they love this. So it makes them feel like
you're talking to me a whole now. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to sing. I don't know what words I can remember as a fighter. What do you got for me? You got something for me?
Well, dude, I mean, you got to know a song, dude. Fucking, come on, man. What's your walkout song?
Conteo, but my shit's fucking. My Hispanic is horrible. I have Spanglish. It's horrible.
And you don't have to sing on key or in pitch.
All right. I'm gonna do one. I'll do Brantley. I'm sorry. I'll do like a quick little bottoms up. Tonight is bottoms up. Grab your cup, fill it up. Don't remember the rest of the words because I usually sing along. All I could say is, let's go, Brandon.
That was good enough for me, man. I had a feeling you were going to fucking go back to the Brantley Gilbert, dude. Because it's your boy, So
dude, I'm like, in my head, like when people sing, I'm like, damn. Like, I can say the words while they're singing it because then I start remembering it. But I'm like, tonight is bottoms up. I'm like, what's it? Grab your cup, fill up. Oh my God. I'm like, can't even think about it. Like, kicking. Like, I remember being at the concert one time, and he was doing Kicking in the Sticks, and the chorus came on, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I can't even fucking sing the chorus because he had the mic out. It was the crowd just kind of flip-flopped it, and he like came back and it just kind of took over. Never like missed a beat though. Like, it was like, it's okay, they missed out. You fucked it up, don't worry about it. He just fucking sang it for you, don't worry about it. Is what is it? Outside those fences, money grows and rose. Something like that. I can't even think about it. Man, you put me on the spot. Look at that. I'm flustered. Like, I could do a lot of stuff. I could do like anything, but probably singing would be my worst thing. I remember going to the karaoke bar, trying to sing a song that I sing along to all the time with my wife, which is Die a Happy Man by Thomas Rhett. And I was like trying to sing it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking horrible. Then I'm hearing myself. I'm like, babe, you just keep singing. I'll bop my head. I'm like,
there you go.
So I'm sorry, I can't do anything better than that.
No, dude, listen, like I said, all I ask is for the attempt. I don't ask you to be a fucking Grammy or fucking award-winning singer on my show. I will tell you the best person that's over the years that's come on the show is a UFC fighter, Courtney Casey. She came on a couple years back, and, you know, I used to warn people ahead of time that they were going to have to sing, but then I felt it wasn't organic enough, so I stopped warning people. I just spring it on them. So, but I had given her a heads up. I was going to, you know, at that time, I was letting people know. So she comes on. We're doing our interview. We finish up the interview, and I'm like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the singing debut of Cast Iron, Courtney Casey. Courtney, you were warned about this ahead of time. What do you got? So she sits back in her chair. You know, she's sitting there for a minute. She doesn't say anything, and then she's looking away like this, and then she just, in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. And she just spit it all, dude. I almost fucking shit myself, dude. I was like, oh.
That is funny. I actually shared a warm-up room with her when I fought in Glasgow, Scotland. Actually, she beat the shit out of my work wife, Lewis. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I was the second fight. I forgot what fight she was. I came back. I'm watching the world. I'm like, oh, man, that sucks. She was fucking putting it on him. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not doing jiu-jitsu with her right now. She fucking put it on, hit him, doing this and that. I'm like, and they were like, but what I did appreciate was that she's fucking cool as hell. She let my teammate, because they were giving us a hard time having in the back to warm up. She was like, can you just be out there? And he actually went out there, coached a little bit. He coached for a fight. He didn't know her, so it's hard to coach someone you don't really know.
Right.
But, you know, helping out what way he could, because her jiu-jitsu coach couldn't make it out. But watching them warm up, I'm like, oh, man, that sucks. You get beat up right now. Oh, worse than I did. Usually it's him and I warming up, but he's like, fuck, I forgot my mouthpiece to warm up. And with her, I'm like watching, like, oh, man, you definitely should have brought your mouthpiece for this one.
Yeah,
so,
well, you know, you live, you learn, right?
That's for sure.
All right, well, listen, Mr. Rivera, I appreciate you taking the time, man. I had a good time chatting with you, man. Lots of fun. Normally, like I said, I do 30 minutes with people. You know, we're at an hour and 20 right now, so fucking, I could sit here and talk to you all night, fucking. And we didn't even get to talk about.
I'll send you an invoice for it. Don't worry about it.
And that's cool, man. I'm going to bill you too, so it's okay. But we didn't even get to talk about like really good food. We'll do that another time, though. Next time you're on the show, we'll have a food conversation. But listen, thank you for, like I said, for entertaining us all these years. I mean, we can't. I know a lot of us can't wait to see the next chapter. So we're going to be looking and waiting for the news to drop that you're officially signed with BKFC. It should be coming any day, kids. I think so. I really believe it. But, you know, it's not officially official. It's unofficially official only on Cage Side with Christopher James. Every place else, it's not happened yet. So, but here in my world, it's happened. So, listen, thanks a lot again for being here, man. Good luck in the future. Like I said, I can't wait to see what goes on. And remember, you're the best damn dad.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Have a good one, all right?
You too, brother. Be well.
Take care. Bye.
Boys and girls, that was Jimmie Rivera. I love it. We're going to get out of here. Tuesday night on the show, Bellator fighter Robert Turnquist and referee Big John McCarthy going to join us here. We also might have Chris Curtis jumping in as well. We'll confirm all that tomorrow, and we'll let you guys know. Until next time, I am Christopher James. Thanks for being here with me and letting me be a part of your lives today, and for allowing you to be and for allowing me to be a part of yours. I mean it right here. Until next time, I am Christopher James. You've been Cage Side, and we are out of here. Good night, everybody.
What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell's Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get sausage biscuits. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Go with the deuces. There you go, baby.